On this episode of COX Connections, hardy oysters are a sign of a strong ecosystem and are the foundation of health for the Chesapeake Bay. Through its Oysters for Life initiative, the Oyster Company of Virginia enlists the help of local watermen to sustain the growth of oysters native to the bay, while helping to create jobs for the industry. Be a part of the youth movement in Hampton Roads. Teens with a Purpose is empowering young people every day by providing the platform to showcase their talents in order to effect personal change, improve the lives of their peers, and foster a sense of community. Find out how teens are inspiring other teens to develop to their fullest potential. 2011 marked the introduction of the Employee Grant Program, where COX employees were able to nominate and vote for nonprofit organizations to receive funding from our philanthropic initiative, COX Charities. Today, you'll learn more about one of those grant recipients, the Downtown Hampton Child Development Center, as well as meet the employee who holds this organization near and dear to his heart. Stay tuned. COX Connections is next. Hello and welcome to COX Connections. I'm your host, Gary McCullum, Senior Vice President and General Manager for COX Hampton Roads. We have so many things that are unique to this region, making Hampton Roads a great place to live, work, and play. The Chesapeake Bay, for example, is recognized for its oysters, which serve not only as a source of food, but more significantly as a central figure in maintaining the health of the Chesapeake estuary. Tolar Nolley joins me today to talk about his organization, the Oyster Company of Virginia, as well as Wade Self, a waterman here in Virginia, and they are going to tell us what they are doing to protect the native Virginia oyster and the ecosystem it thrives in. Thanks for joining me on the show.
Thanks, Gary. Glad to be here.
Why don't we start off? What's the mission of the organization? Let's start there.
Well, thank you. The Oyster Company of Virginia's mission is quite powerful. It's to promote the sustainable return of the native Virginia oyster as the basis for the health of the Chesapeake Bay and its estuaries by providing products and programs that have been proven and enlisting the Virginia watermen and the general public to participate in the success of the solution.
All right, and I think we have a piece that we can show now that'll kind of get us started in this session.
Both of my great-grandfathers was watermen, and they've been watermen all the way to me.
Far back as I know my grandfather set pound nets, my father worked with him, and as far back as I know, that's all they've ever done, work on the water.
Our family's been in the water business since we came over from England, I guess.
Being a fifth-generation waterman, a few years ago I decided, because of the condition of the bay, that a difference needed to be made. I felt like the oyster was the way to go. That was the solution to the problem.
The oyster population has been depleted to less than 1% of its supply back in the 1800s. The once watermen that filled these waters, providing us with seafood for around the world, their cultures are now being challenged and decimated as well.
These are the waters that my grandfathers and his fathers oystered for years. Now, as you see, there are no commercial oystermen in this river.
The native oyster is a key component to saving the bay, restoring it, and to enjoying it the way people used to.
Oysters are terrific filters of the water, and I think that that when we get 10, 12, 15 million oysters out in Chesapeake Bay in these various areas, it's going to definitely be a plus for the water quality of the Chesapeake Bay. It can't do anything but help it, I tell you.
Well, we thought of this great idea called Oysters for Life. How can we get the general public to actually help make a difference in the bay? Taking all these proven technologies and methodologies and really making a difference. If we sell these cages, let the general public and people come and say, I want to help, then we can help the watermen build the cages, supply the seed, put them out in all these private lease bottoms around the Chesapeake Bay that we have control of, and have these different teams actually grow oysters using the new aquaculture technique that's been proven with the disease-resistant broodstock. So the multiple benefits that we can do with this program, we think is so powerful, and we think that the Oysters for Life campaign is the way to do it.
Oysters is a win-win situation for everybody, the bay, the consumer, and the waterman.
We think it's going to be real good for the bay and real good for us and real good for everybody.
I think that's the thing of the future. I really do.
We're asking the public, you, to support the Beautiful Revolution and join us and the watermen to help bring back the native Virginia oyster. And we can supply the world with fantastic Virginia oysters.
Hello, I'm Bill Joyner, and I'm an aqua farmer, and I raise oysters. And I'm helping to save the bay.
Tolar, what a great piece that really just gave a picture to the mission that you just talked about. You know, clearly what came out of there were several pieces, but what came out of that is how important oysters are to the health of the Chesapeake Bay.
Yes, sir. And the bottom line is that one oyster will filter up to 50 gallons of water a day.
That's incredible.
And it's hard enough for us to drink 8 glasses of water a day. So we do know that fundamentally the more oysters that we put into the Chesapeake Bay, the more that we'll be able to bring balance back to what they call the eutrophic waters, where there's just too much nitrogen and phosphorus.
So the entire ecosystem is helped by having these oysters. They are thriving and, I mean, just doing great things in our area.
Absolutely. For fish and reef habitat, the more oysters we can place in the bay, then the more we can provide for fish and reef habitat. And actually, we consider it an eco-food.
Yeah. Wade, now there was a piece in there that talked about this actually as an agriculture, the oyster aquaculture industry, and how this effort really is going to help that industry as well.
Yes, being a 5th-generation waterman and a father of 4, I realized that I had to find a way to provide for my family and continue to work on the water. That's when I got involved with Tolar and the Oyster Company of Virginia. We are an eco-friendly company that are creating jobs. We are helping the native Virginia oysters with our farm-raised oysters, and most important, we're bringing back the waterman's heritage, which is dear to my heart.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important for us to know that it's a good thing, but it's also helping out the economy, which is
Exactly.
we all need that to happen. There was another very important piece there, the Oyster for Life program. Talk a little bit about that. That really sounded like it's something that we all need to know more about.
Thank you. Actually, this is the big kickoff because everyone around the United States can now participate by buying an Oysters for Life package by going to oystersforlife.com. And very simply, you buy a package and you will receive 2 dozen fresh packed oysters once a year for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
Yes, sir. It's that important.
So everybody then plays a role in really everything that we've talked about in terms of helping their community, creating jobs, creating a better ecosystem. And again, buying this, it's for life.
For life, and they can give it to themselves, or they can actually give it as a gift for Christmas, the holidays, for graduation, as an anniversary.
We only have about 30 seconds. How, and I'm listening to this, if somebody's listening to this, how do they contact you? How do they get involved in this? Is there a website or?
Go to oystersforlife.com.
And they can contact that organization, contact that website, and get all the information on how to
All
participate.
the information is on there, and as a matter of fact, on behalf of the Oyster Company of Virginia, Gary, we would like to present you and Cox Connections with an Oysters for Life package so that you will have oysters for the rest of your life. And we look forward to growing with you.
Tolar, thank you very much, Wade. Thank you for all you're doing, and it's going to make our area even better. Thank you for your leadership on this.
Thank you.
After the break, teens with knowledge, teens with talent, teens with ambition, teens with a purpose joins me to talk about the youth movement in Hampton Roads and how you can get involved. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Cox Connections.